Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We hope everybody had a great Easter weekend. My name is Jeremy Franz, and I'm thrilled that you're able to join us today to learn a little bit more about the Dam Safety Toolbox, ASDSO's latest website. Thanks to ASDSO for hosting this free webinar, and special thanks to my co-presenters, Greg Richards and Annie Lynch with Gannett Fleming for helping, not only with the presentation, but also with the project as a whole. So, just so everybody knows, we will have a couple of opportunities for Q&A. You should use the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen if you'd like to ask a question. So we'll be monitoring those, and we have a couple of breakpoints in the presentation where we'll be stopping to answer those questions. So look for that Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. Okay. A quick agenda of what we'll talk about today. I'll give the introduction and then hand it over to Greg for a site tour and demonstration, and then he'll hand it over to Andy, who'll show you just how easy it is to get into the toolbox and edit a page on the site and submit that for moderator review. And then he'll turn it back over to me, and I'll wrap it up with some logistics information about our committee and our plans for the future. So, okay. So let's get started with a brief introduction, answering a few basic questions you may have about the toolbox. We'll start with, what is the toolbox? The toolbox is envisioned to be your one-stop shop to find technical references for any topic related to dam safety. It's a Wikimedia-based website, so it's similar to Wikipedia. However, we've instituted a moderation process so that not just anybody can make a change. It has to go through a moderation process, and we'll talk a little bit about that. It's owned by ASDSO and operated by an ASDSO committee, the Dam Toolbox Committee. And it's free on the web for anybody to use. Let's give a little bit of history here on the development of the toolbox. It began with a recognition that dam safety community didn't necessarily have the same library of references. There have been previous attempts to get us all on the same page. And before this timeline, some of you may recall, Mike Hand from Wyoming and Michelle Lemieux from Montana worked to develop the Embankment Dam Reference Toolbox. We ended up calling it EDIRT. Some of you may remember Mike Hand giving those away at the conference in 2011. But the challenge there was that the thumb drive that the EDIRT lived on was sort of a dead end. Those thumb drives, once they were released into the wild, could never be recalled for updates. Now onto this timeline. Some of you may know Mark Baker. He's the leader of the Dam Failures and Incidents Committee. And over the years of looking at various dam failures and incidents, one common theme he observed was that most failures resulted from not following standard practices in the design and construction of dams. And at the 2018 Dam Safety Conference in Seattle, Mark hosted a soapbox session to start to figure out how to migrate us all towards best technical practices. We had observed the symptoms and felt like we had identified the root cause, so what should the treatment be? A group of us gathered a day in advance of the 2019 Western Regional Conference in Westminster to brainstorm what the treatment should be. We wanted to explore the best path forward, and some great ideas came out of that. It led to a town hall style session at the 2019 Dam Safety Conference in Orlando. We got some really good feedback during that conference, including from Miguel Roca of the Bureau of Reclamation. He suggested that we look into this wiki platform as a way to allow crowdsourcing of input. So after the 2019 conference, the ASDSO board chartered the Technical Knowledge-Based Task Force. And they were charged with studying the topic in more detail, look at alternatives, and make some recommendations about a possible path forward. So that's what we did in 2020. Our task force embarked, put together a feasibility study to make those recommendations. We had planned this big in-person meeting to bring the whole task force together and craft our findings document. Well, then COVID happened, so we had to pivot. So actually that was sort of a blessing in disguise, as the virtual meeting platforms like Zoom and all the others popped up to allow us to kind of spread the effort over multiple small meetings without the burden and time constraints of travel. So that's what we did in 2020. The key recommendation of the task force was that ASDSO consider funding a project for a consultant to help us with the initial legwork of developing the platform and seeding it with a critical mass of initial content to launch the project. So in 2021, the board approved our recommendations and we put together a request for proposals for the initial website development. We got 3 proposals and ended up selecting Gannett Fleming as the best fit to carry the project forward. Gannett Fleming in 2022 and 2023 developed the website, which officially launched just before last year's conference. So it seems like a good point to give some thanks to those who helped get this project off the ground. The first being our task force members, which are listed here. And John Garton, he actually mocked up a sample wiki page for us to kind of test out during our study of the process to see what the viability was of that Wikimedia language. Our task force was filled with some really great thinkers that helped tremendously put together the feasibility report that was focused and coherent and really established a clear recommendation for the board on the path forward to take. I need to thank ASDSO staff, particularly Caitlin Riley and Laurie Spriggans, for helping us along the way, supporting our vision and helping to convey that to the board. And to the board themselves for giving it their full support. We wouldn't be able to do this without that support. Members of the Dam Design and Construction Committee also helped along the way. And our selected consultant was the perfect complement for the project. Greg and the Gannett Fleming team that he brought to the task was fantastic to work with. They really shared our vision and brought their passion, commitment, professionalism, and hard work to bear on the project to produce the website that you see today. And then, thanks to all of you who are attending, we really need your help to help this toolbox become all it can be. And you'll see just how easy it is to contribute your level of expertise to help improve the site. That brings us to the biggest question of all. Why do this? And we already alluded to this a little bit. But before I get into these bullets, thought I'd lend a little bit from my personal background and motivation. I feel pretty strongly that we all have a duty to improve the world around us. To me, it really is a calling, and I think that's probably why many of us entered the dam safety profession in the first place. I have a recollection from my early childhood of seeing footage of the Teton Dam failure. And I know we're all in this to do everything we can to prevent similar occurrences in the future. My career has benefited significantly from ASDSO, from the training to networking to building up of our dam safety programs to help prevent those dam failures from happening in the future. And this site and platform is a great way for us all to directly support the mission and goals of ASDSO. We already talked a little bit about advancing towards standard practices and the advantage that provides. It basically helps keep us from repeating past mistakes. We also need a mechanism for us to easily share information approaches from state to state. I don't know about your state website, but ours is a little challenging to navigate. Well, the Toolbox provides a place where each state has a page that they can control and share information so that other states don't have to worry about figuring out how to navigate 50 different other states to find the information that they need on the dam safety page. There really is no need to reinvent the wheel. If another state has implemented a program that you think would work in your state, then let's learn from the other states that have pioneered the path for us. And one of the challenges for dam safety programs throughout the states is that dam safety covers such a broad range of disciplines. And not all states can hire experts in all the disciplines required. And not all consulting firms have a really deep bench with experts from every field that they can draw on for their projects. Just to give you a little example here, we need a place for an engineer who may have a background in hydrology. They may be experts in hydrology. But if they have a dam that they're working on that has a slope stability issue, maybe during seismic events, we need them to have a place to go to find that information. That H&H specialist doesn't even know what they don't know about seismic, but they have the wisdom to know that they can search that information out and find it. Where do they go to find that information? Well, we think the Dam Safety Toolbox is where they should go to at least learn the basics. Where do they go to get the ground motions to input into their stability analysis? Can they just plug those into a simple pseudostatic slope stability model, or they need to ask the dam owner to pay their consultant to start working on a deformation model? Those sorts of questions that maybe they might not even know they need to ask those questions in the first place. But they may also be able to find training that ASDSO and other organizations are offering related to the topic that they're interested in learning more about. So the beauty of the toolbox is it puts all this information into one place. There's a ton of great resources out there, particularly in the states where we have federal organizations, federal agencies that have really great publications, but they're just not compiled and consolidated anywhere. Well, the toolbox provides us a place to put resources from Reclamation, Army Corps of Engineers, FERC, NRCS, and even other states. So that's what the toolbox, a little bit of history of the toolbox is. Now that you know a little bit more about that, I'm going to get ready to turn it over to Greg to do a little bit deeper dive into the what. But first, we'll pause and see if there are any questions that we can answer. Greg and Andy, do we have any questions in the Q&A?
No, we don't, Jeremy, not yet.
Okay, great. Well, with that, I'll turn it over to Greg, and he can begin with his part of the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for that great introduction. And I also want to take the chance to thank ASDSO for really leading out and creating this important resource and giving me the opportunity to help with it. It's been a really enriching project to be a part of in my career. And I may be slightly biased, but I feel like this is a really big deal for the dam safety community. It has just a ton of potential to bolster dam safety on all levels, whether you're just getting started in the industry or if you're a seasoned professional. There's information here for you, opportunities to contribute for you. And also, it's not just focused on like the engineering side of dam safety, but the ownership, regulator, emergency management. This is meant to be just all aspects of dam safety professions. So this site is really for you, whatever your role might be with dams. And it's my job today to just give you a brief overview of the website content and its functionality, kind of give you a primer on how to use the site. So what you're seeing here on my screen is the home page of the Dam Safety Toolbox. As Jeremy said, this is freely accessible for anyone. So if you go up in your browser, any browser, it's also compatible with mobile devices. Just type in damtoolbox.org and it will take you to the website where you can access all of the content that is out there. The homepage is organized around categories and high-level topics that are meant to really encompass all the foundational issues we deal with dams. And so you'll see the top section here, fundamentals. This is kind of your dam safety 101 that has sections on both the purposes, types, and the anatomy of dams. If you have an issue specific to a spillway or an embankment, you want to learn more about that anatomy of dams is where you would go. The two sections below that, dam safety management, is more focused on your owner and regulator type issues. So O&M, surveillance and monitoring, safety, all of those types of things, emergency management. While the technical topics, this blue section here, really gets into more of the design and assessments and engineering aspects of dam safety. And then down below those, we have a section on resources, and I'll touch on that a little later. Now these are just high-level topics. Like I said, it provides a structure and organization to the site. But from here, you can delve into pages devoted to numerous subtopics and even subtopics upon subtopics. Like there's no end to the depth that we can go on this website. And so, for example, if I was working on a concrete arch dam, maybe, and I wanted to understand the latest design guidance on arch dams, I could come to the website and say, okay, let's go to types of dams. And if I click on there, it'll bring up a topic page. And it looks like it's being a little laggy for me here, so bear with me. Okay. So I come up with a page on various types of dams. You see all the common types of dams here, from embankment dams, which are the most common, to steel dams, which are not very common in the United States. But I'm interested specifically in a concrete arch dam. So if I click there, it brings up another topic page. And lo and behold, there's a section on arch dams there. So again, if I click on arch dams, it will bring up a topic page devoted to that topic. So you get the idea, right? These topic pages make up the bulk of the content within the Dam Safety Toolbox. And so if I click on design and construction of arch dams here, it'll bring up the page that I'm primarily interested in if I'm wanting to assess an arch dam. And each topic page on the website is based around a common format. And I apologize, it does look like my internet is going a little slow today. Okay, so here's our topic page on design and construction of arch dams. So all of these pages have a common format. Usually it's a fairly brief introduction or summary. In some cases, that may be more extensive than others, and you'll see some variation on the site. But in this case, there's just a very brief introduction to the topic. You'll have various examples, and examples are, oftentimes we learn better from a story or pictures or videos, case histories. So that's what these examples would be, links to other websites or other pages on the site where you can actually see just examples of these things. Best practices resources. So these are all documents that are out there, and this is really where you get into the meat of the topic, right? We're not creating a design manual here on the Dam Toolbox. We're simply linking to available information that has historically been saved in various locations developed by different federal agencies. We're bringing all of that to one place and making it accessible, from one location. And then also links to trainings. One thing I want to highlight on this particular page is the citations functionality. So you'll notice that we have a little footnote up here. This introduction on this page that I'm highlighting is taken directly from a Corps of Engineers document. And so we've cited that. And there's actually a link here where you can just click on that and it will take you directly to that document. But we're in developing the foundation of this website, and that's really what it is. It's a foundation. We've kind of pulled the range of topics we would expect that would cover all of dam safety, but there's a lot of depth that still needs to be added. And so in developing this foundation, we've often relied on existing content and quoted it directly here and cited it appropriately. We've been careful to abide by copyright laws. We don't want to, plagiarize anything. But this citation functionality is important in kind of preserving that and giving people credit where it's due. I want to navigate back to the home page. One way I can do that is come up to this little breadcrumb menu here. Click on home. It'll take me back to the home page. And now I want to pretend maybe I'm not an engineer. Maybe I'm like a dam owner and operator. And in that case, I might be more interested in this green section. the dam safety management. And maybe I have an issue at my dam with, pesky rodents. I want to think, is there anything on here that could help me figure out how to take care of those rodents, or potentially what problems they might cause, and understand why they're an issue, and why dam safety keeps giving me comments on my inspection report about that. So coming here to operation and maintenance, I see there's again, a brief introduction. And then there's links to these subtopic pages. And it just so happens there's one on controlling animal activity. I'm going to click on that. And this brings up a page that is very similar to the one we were just looking at for concrete dams. Again, an introduction, some examples and resources and trainings. The thing I want to highlight here is specifically what the examples are about. And so ASDSO has developed and sponsors an additional website called damfailures.org. I got to help with the development of that website as well, which was really fun, and still involved in maintaining and improving that site. But what we've learned from that website is that website's all based around lessons learned from dam failures and case studies related to incidents and failures at dams. What we've learned is that people really tend towards looking at the story rather than looking at the lesson. People like to read about things that happened. They like a good story. They like the pictures. And lots of people are more visual learners, right? Or narrative learners. And so we've provided these examples here. In many cases, it links to damfailures.org. But in other cases, these examples link to videos that are, on YouTube, or, photographs of a bunch of examples of stilling basins or things like that. In this particular case, we've got two links to a case study on damfailures.org, the Santa Clara Dam that failed due to potentially rodent burrows that had been, dug by the animals prior to a flood. And then once the reservoir level reached that point where the rodent burrows were, the dam failed. As well as a more general summary of different things that can happen because of animals, also on damfailures.org. So examples are a powerful tool for us to learn. Even if it's not delving into the technical issues, it really highlights for us, for many people who learn that way, in a more visual way. I'm going to go back to the home page again, show you another way to get there. Anywhere on the website, the header of the website has the logo up here, and you can come click on that, and that will take you back to the home page as well. So now, in truth, I'm a hydraulics guy at heart. As far as dam safety goes, that's where my first true love lies, is in hydraulics. And I do a lot of, dam breach analysis, HEC-RAS analysis. So if I was just curious to see what the latest and greatest was in the world of hydraulics, I could come to the hydraulics page. There's this is a little more fleshed out, I'll say, as far as the pages go. There's a nice introduction. And then there are various subheadings talking about, the types of evaluations that we might do as a hydraulic engineer, the different calculation methods we might use. So looking at various types of hydraulics, whether it be weir flow or pipe flow. And then the types of models we commonly use, ranging from one-dimensional models like HEC-RAS or HEC2 to, three-dimensional hydraulic models, CFD, and physical models. A lot of information out there, a lot of trainings that are available. If I was interested in learning more about dam breach inundation analysis, I could come to this page on the types of evaluations. And here you see another topic page just devoted to that. This can delve even further. So, subtopics, like I said, subtopics upon subtopics. There's no limit to how detailed we can go. In this particular case, We have, subtopic pages devoted to the type of data, terrain data, or land roughness that you might want to assume for a dam breach inundation model. And we could go to those pages and learn about those details of the analysis. So there's a lot of information on here. And as we think about growing and improving, expanding this content over time, there's really no limit to where we can take it. We can delve into the different types of analyses. So, dam breach inundation analysis in and of itself can be applied in many ways, either preparing for an emergency action plan, EAP, or doing hazard potential classification and everything in between. So we can delve into the specifics of dam breach analysis for those various types of analyses. Other things I want to highlight here, the resources and the trainings. So these would take us to individual pages on the website that are devoted to these best practices resources. I'll just click on this one here, the FEMA document on inundation mapping. And you see, it brings up a page devoted to that resource. And I'll talk more about the best practices resource page later on in the presentation. Now, thus far, I've been really focused on navigating from our high-level menu at the home page, and that's assuming, I guess, that okay, I have an issue. It probably falls in one of these high-level categories, and kind of working your way down and finding your way to that page. In many cases, you may not have that luxury, right? So I'm a hydraulics guy, but that doesn't stop other things from occasionally crossing my desk that I'm not as familiar with. And one of the drivers in creating the dam safety toolbox was actually to support state dam safety engineers that need to know all the aspects of dam safety. They don't have the luxury of specializing like I have had in my career. And so to help those individuals that really need to get a high level understanding of all things dam safety, this website brings it all to one place, but it also makes it very easy to find things. And the search functionality that is up here, the search toolbar up here, is in the header of every page of the website. And you can search all the content at once on the website. So for example, if I needed to review a seepage analysis, I'm not a geotech engineer. I know enough that I might know I could come to anatomy of dams or types of dams and look for like embankment. I might scroll down here to geotechnical technical topic, and I'd be able to find my way to some information on seepage. But if I just wanted to search for it instead, that is an option, and it's a powerful way to navigate the website. And let's just pretend that in addition to not knowing much about seepage analysis, maybe I don't even know how to spell all that well. So just to demonstrate the power of this search, maybe I'm thinking my supervisor told me, do this seepage analysis, and I don't even know the first thing about it. So seepage analysis, what does that return? What does that give me if I search for that? Well, boom, there you go. The search is so smart, it recognized my typos and said, this is what you're really looking for. You're looking for seepage analysis. And then it shows me all the different pages on the website that are related to, or that mention that type of analysis. And the very first option here is a page that's devoted to seepage analysis. So if I click on that, it'll again bring up the topic page for, devoted to seepage analysis. It'll talk about the purposes, the types of analyses, some guidance if I want to understand boundary conditions, or what I need to do with my permeabilities for a seepage analysis, and point me to those best practices resources. So very powerful way. Also, I want to highlight this breadcrumb menu at the top. So if I just searched for it and got to it, this also shows me some of the high-level topics that are between the home menu and the page that I landed on. So I could see, oh, there might be something on this page about filter and drain design that could help me too. And I see that this particular page has been, categorized under the geotech and geology topic page as well. The last page type I want to highlight, at least as far as the topic pages go, are a subset of our topic pages that are devoted to state regulatory agencies. So if you come to dam safety programs, oftentimes it can be difficult for practitioners to understand the newest nuances or specific requirements that individual states have. Various state dam safety agencies have different requirements. And so if you're working around the country, it's important to be able to have access to those requirements and understand those differences. And so there's this page on the website, State Dam Safety Programs. And it talks a lot, Mark Baker and Chuck Thompson have worked hard on this section of the website to improve it. But it includes this map. And within this map, you can click around. So my home state of Utah, for example, if I come here, the website has initially been populated only with a very basic introduction, talking about which agency regulates dams within the states and providing a link to their website. But, states have the opportunity to come in here. So for example, Jeremy with the state of Colorado has put some work into the Colorado state page and have provided, information on their statutes and rules. And the state of Colorado has also done a lot of work on developing guidance documents to help their engineers, do various things in a way that the state of Colorado likes to see them. So these can be great resources for people working in the state, but also for other states that are looking for, what other agencies have done and what they might want to adopt on their end. One of the other state pages that has been more developed is Michelle Lemieux, and they have, and the state of Montana, and they've gone to some effort to again add in some of the special guidance documents, and they've been so nice as to divvy it up between things that are Montana specific or things that anyone might look at, looking at pseudo calibration of hydrologic models and such. So state pages can be very powerful. Okay, the last thing I want to highlight now is the resources page. So we've covered kind of the big bases of our topic pages. Our resources page are powerful. We link to those from all the different topic pages, but you can also come down here to the bottom of the home page and click on one of these, and you'll end up with a catalog of all the various resources that have been uploaded to the website. As of right now, there are approximately 170 documents uploaded to the website. But as we were developing the site, we identified close to 1,000 candidate documents that would be beneficial to add to the website. And so, over time, my hope is that we get closer to that 1,000 document level. We can continue to upload documents over time. This is the catalog. So this shows all the different documents that are uploaded to the site. It's heavily focused on our federal agencies, FEMA, NRCS, FERC, Corps of Engineers, Reclamation. And each of these pages, I'll just come down and show one example. NRCS, maybe I'm looking at their kind of key document, TR60, that provides their high-level information for flood control reservoirs. Each of these documents has a page like this on the website that provides an abstract, provides links to download the document. So if I click on that, it will download the document straight away from the Dam Toolbox website. So it's not linked necessarily to the NRCS It always lives here. It should always be current. And one feature I love is this can serve as an archive. So if you're interested in a dam that was, built or assessed in the past and understanding how TR60 has changed in that time, you can also access previous versions of the document from the website. A section on errata or other notes. And then below this, you can see all the different topic pages that link to this particular resource. And so you can go look at these topic pages and maybe find other documents that are similar. So that's how each of those best practices resources documents look. In addition to best practices, we have trainings, and this is specifically online trainings. Currently, it's uploaded with all of the ASDSO on-demand webinars. We also have a link to Corps of Engineers training that's available online. Ultimately, this could include USSD training opportunities, other state or federal agencies. So a lot of opportunity to provide that. And then last but not least, other resources. These are resources that may not fit a definition of a best practices resource. You can see we've only got 5 of them on there right now. These are not as thoroughly vetted, but they're still valuable resources for dam safety agencies. So things like documents and tools developed by state dam safety agencies, landmark technical papers, academic research. My favorite on the list is Dr. Brian Crookston's dissertation on labyrinth weirs. I reference this quite frequently. So there's again an opportunity to share this information, all of this information out there. I will note, if anything is copyrighted, we don't provide a direct download link for that. We have the opportunity to provide a link that takes you to a page where you could purchase that document. So we are careful not to infringe on copyright laws, but we can still point to those resources or standards if they merit being added to the website. So that's the Dam Safety Toolbox in a nutshell. I will stress that the content is foundational at this point. We're really just scratching the surface of its possibilities. And so at this point, I'll turn the time over to Andy to talk about how we can improve site content and expand it over time.
Hey, Greg, this is Jeremy, and we do have a couple questions in the chat, so I thought we might just answer those real quick before we turn it over to Andy. So the first one is there a plan to provide links to international references? Canada, Europe, Australia, etc. have a lot of good references which are written in the English language. And the answer is absolutely yes. ICOLD has a lot of bulletins. They're copyrighted, so we can just provide a link to those like Greg was mentioning. So that's the answer to that question. There definitely is an opportunity to expand this to overseas references. The next question is a kind of a lengthy question, and so I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'll try to summarize it as best I can, but it's about doing research on multiple hazard aspects associated with multiple purpose dams. And the question, I believe, is asking if they can access the dam toolbox and then add contributions to the dam toolbox based on the findings of that research. And absolutely yes, please get in touch with us, and we can figure out the best place on the toolbox for that information to live if appropriate. And then the final question is that this individual would like to share the website with dam owners as they perform dam safety inspections this season. Would we be willing as a committee to provide a brief statement about the website encompassing all that's great about it and why someone should check it out? And we do have a one-pager that Caitlin developed for us, and so maybe we might be able to customize that for dam owners specifically. So, but that's it for the Q&A in the right now. So, Andy, turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Greg. Today, I'm going to just give a brief overview on how to get started editing and contributing to the toolbox. But before I do, I want to share a snapshot of what currently exists on the Dam Safety Toolbox website. Greg mentioned earlier that the foundation has been created for the site, and we have a strong foundation to build on. We have over 500 individual topic pages, a catalog of those nearly 200 best practices documents that Greg was discussing, and almost 500 registered users to date. And we've created what we hope will continue to grow and become a valuable resource to the dam safety community. But this work is really only just beginning, and this is where the broader dams community can volunteer and contribute to continually expanding the base of knowledge that's housed here. Any ASDSO member can log on and edit the site to add new content or simply to improve readability and maybe fix a typo. We will even accept content from non-ASDSO members through a fillable PDF form that can be emailed in to one of the site's moderators. We have tried to eliminate barriers to anybody who would like to join us and contribute to the build out of this website. If, as you're reading something on the website, you see something that could be improved, we want you to, finger quotes, say something and make the appropriate edits to make the site better. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to log on to the website to make some basic edits, and I will also point you to where you can learn more about the contribution guidelines that accompany the site with the goal of maintaining consistency across the site's many contributors. So I'm sharing now a browser pointing to the website, and there are two ways that you can log on to the website, and I'll demonstrate both here briefly. The first way will be to access damtoolbox.org, where you'll see a login button in the header ribbon. If you click that button, that will bring you to a login page through ASDSO's portal. Filling in your ASDSO login information and clicking login will automatically then redirect you to the Dam Toolbox website, where you will be logged in. And I, like Greg, seem to have a little bit of a slow internet issue here. There we go. So once you're redirected to the website, you will be logged in. The second way is through the Dam Safety portal at ASDSO, where similarly, once you log in, you will see a Dam Safety Toolbox button down here in the grid of buttons. That clicking that after you've logged in will take you back to the Dam Safety Toolbox, where you will then be able to edit and contribute to the site. After you log in, you'll notice there are these 4 buttons that appear in the header ribbon. The first one here is Edit, which is rather obvious, and I'll discuss here shortly. The second button, Discussion, will lead to an individual talk page that is specific to each topic page on the website. The purpose of this page is for the contributors to have discussions kind of behind the scenes about maybe new content to be added or changes that need to be made to the website. The discussion or talk pages don't actually house any content. They're just for that planning and coordination purposes behind the scenes. The gear icon brings up some links to some advanced functions to the website. And lastly, clicking on your username will bring up links to allow you to create a user page or modify some of your preferences for the website. So today I'm going to demonstrate, and I am zoomed in a bit here to make it easier to read. I'm going to demonstrate just how to create some basic edits to the website. And today I have been doing some research on seepage analysis and filter design. And as I'm reading, I notice a sentence that stands out at me. It says here, the effects of seepage should not be evaluated for all dams. Now, I know enough about seepage to know that that can't be true. So I think I'm going to go in there and make that correction to improve the content of the website. And as I'm reading further down, I notice that there is a red link here, which indicates a broken link within the wiki site. So that is a link that is pointing to a page that does not exist currently. So I'm going to see if I can figure out how to fix that link as well. The first thing that I'm going to do is click this edit button up at the top, which will load the editing page for this specific seepage analysis content. So once this loads, you'll see this editing box. And at the top of this editing box, there are some tools that I'm not going to discuss today, but that can help with some of the common formatting and editing operations for maintaining the site. Clicking this advanced button here will bring down additional tools that I encourage you to explore and experiment with, as they do offer some very good functionality. At the top of this page, you may notice some of this code here that may not make any sense to you, and that's fine. For this operation, it's not important that we understand that. What I'm looking for was that first sentence in the second paragraph here that did not read correctly to me. So to fix this one, I'm going to remove the errant not there, and that should fix that edit. And the second thing that I want to do is to fix that broken link. First, I want to discuss how links are coded in the wiki platform. This here is an example of a link that's coded, and links begin with 2 square brackets, followed by text, which is the name of the page that's being linked to, followed by a vertical pipe character, and followed by the text that you would like the link itself to display, and followed by 2 closing square brackets. So in this instance, we're linking to the hazard potential classification page, and we're presenting the same text, hazard potential classification, but without the capitalization to make it more readable within the context of this sentence. So the broken link here is down in this area, and you can see here that someone misspelled embankment dams under the linking portion, but spelled it correctly under the text representation. So to fix this link, all I need to do is correct that link, the text there for the page, embankment dams. Once both of those edits are done, I'm going to scroll down here. And at the bottom of the edit box, you'll notice this summary text box, which is an opportunity to put in a summary of the edit that you've just made. However, this is not necessary, and the moderators will be able to review your edits regardless of whether this is populated or not. It's always best practice to preview your edit before you submit it. So I'll click the Show Preview button, and the web page will reload with a preview, as it states here, showing the edits that I've made. So now this sentence reads correctly here, and this link is no longer a broken link to embankment dams. So it appears that I've made the changes that I intended to make. And I'm going to come down here to the very bottom, and now I'm going to save the changes. Now, I am not a moderator on the website, nor are most people. There are select people who are given the privileges to review all of the changes that are submitted to the website. Whenever a change is made, that change gets put into the moderation queue, as indicated by this text box that appears here, pending review. So it's been sent to moderation. And what this means is that the live version of the site does not yet reflect my changes. Those changes need to be reviewed and accepted by a moderator before they go live. So again, we're seeing here that the changes that I just made are not active in the site, but Greg and Jeremy are 2 of our moderators. So I'm going to ask one of them to approve my edits, and then I will reload the page. It was a little early. Let's try it one more time here.
Should be approved now.
Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, and I see here it's let me just navigate back to the page itself instead of doing a refresh. So if I come here, so we see here the effects of seepage should be evaluated for dams, and this link is now correctly fixed in the live version of the site. So that is just a very quick overview on making those edits. And I want to stress that that the edits in the queue, we strive to approve those within a 2-week time frame of when they're submitted. As the site increases in traffic, and hopefully as we get more volunteers on board, we really would like to bring that review time down, particularly for small edits that don't require any additional coordination. But for more substantial edits, including the introduction of entirely new topic pages, there may be more active coordination that's required between the submitter and the subject matter expert or moderator on the website. In these instances, we'll reach out to begin that process to work together and bring that new content to the site. The last thing that I want to bring to your attention is this contribute page that's linked down in the footer of every page on the DAM Toolbox site. Clicking the contribute page will bring you to a very helpful resource for understanding some of the more advanced functions on the website, including the style guide that's been prepared. Within these pages, there are helpful instructions for handling different formatting issues that may come up. And we encourage anybody who's interested in particularly becoming a moderator, or even if you want to contribute some more significant changes to the website, that you review the information here within the contribute page. We have a volunteer agreement that we ask all moderators to sign and submit before becoming a moderator on the website. And also on this page is a link to the fillable PDF contribution form that I mentioned earlier that can be emailed in if you don't care to even try to learn the coding syntax of the website and you just want to add some helpful information to the website. There's this PDF form that can be directly emailed in to allow you to do so. On this page as well, there's a table of high-level topics represented within the DAM Safety Toolbox, along with the subject matter expert and moderator who have volunteered to be responsible for those particular topics. They review all of the more technical information that's presented. All of the more detailed changes would be triaged and forwarded to one of those subject matter experts to handle the review. That brings me to the end of what I wanted to showcase here today. I hope I've shown that the basic editing of the site really doesn't have to be intimidating. And I also want to stress that you cannot break anything. We have the moderation system in place, and we also have backups of the data should anything catastrophic happen in the background. But the barrier to entry, we really hope is non-existent. We want your contributions. We want as many people to get involved as we can. So if you have any questions, please reach out to one of us and we'll be happy to help get you going. I will pass it over now to Jeremy.
Thanks, Andy. We do have a couple of questions that came up. One was if you want to add a reference, how do you do this? We've got a whole basically tutorial about how to do that in our contribute page that Andy was just showing. So there is a way to show you how to do that if you want to go to the contribute page. We don't have time to get into that today, unfortunately, but we did think about that, and that'll walk you through the process. And then the other question is, beyond volunteer efforts, is there funding to continue development of the website? And thinks that the website is a very important resource and its development should be well funded. You know, what we've done is we've kind of created the seed and we want it to grow. And so we're going to see how that goes with volunteer effort. And if we identify areas that need to be fleshed out, need to have some focused attention on, then we would cross that bridge as we came to it. But that's a very good question. So thanks for that. Okay. So I realize we're running a little short on time here, so I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit quickly. We will probably go a little bit long. If you need to jump off, that's fine. So thank you for your attention. So where to now? You know, as Greg and Andy both mentioned, the site has a great foundation. And if you're a dam engineer, you know the foundation is the most important part. But it's not the prettiest part. And that's what we need your help with to help this tool blossom into its full potential. So where do we go from here? Well, with everybody's help, we'll be revising, tweaking, and refining the existing content. We also have the opportunity to develop new content for the site. So my example here is we got the basic claw hammer right now. We need to add a framing hammer, and we need to add a sledgehammer. So that's the type of additional specialized information that we can add to the site. Some dam specific examples that I have is I've been involved in the review of Chimney Hollow Dam, which is an asphalt core dam. And so I've got some great resources on asphalt core dams that I want to be able to share on the site. So I'll be putting those up. And the other one that I'm working on right now is the enlargement of Gross Reservoir, Denver Waters Dam. And that's a RCC overlay on an arched dam. And so there's some really special considerations you need to think about when you're looking at that type of construction. So those are just some of the fine details that we need to add to the site. So if you're aware of a specialized resource that we need to add to the site, that would be great if you would take the opportunity to contribute that to the site. Or does your state have a unique approach to a dam safety issue? You can consider sharing that on your state webpage, just as we've done in Colorado. Montana has some on there, and I know California is actively working on their page as well. And like Andy said, although it's useful to have some coding background, it's definitely not a requirement. There's really no limit to how much we can put on the site. And if you have information you want to get on there, but you just don't want to get into the coding, just reach out to us. We'll figure out a way to add your content to the site. And that PDF form would be a great opportunity to do that. So moving to my next slide here. This is the way the committee operates. We've just rechartered the Dam Design and Construction Committee as the Dam Toolbox Committee. So here's the structure of that. We've got a leadership team, and then we've got 3 smaller teams: a web development team, curation team, and a study group team. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that now. The leadership team is just a way to have some trusted advisors with a shared vision for the site to kind of bounce ideas off of and chart the overall course of the toolbox and where it goes from here. And so we've got ASDSO staff member, board members. I'm the committee chair, and then Greg and Andy are co-chairs of the committee. So it's definitely not one person making decisions. It's a whole group of people that sort of guide the course of the project. So then we have what we call our curation team, and this is our subject matter experts who have mastery of a topic, and they may be more senior engineers that have been around the block a few times, and they are responsible for reviewing the technical content of their site. And they're supported by moderators who are typically more younger professionals, more comfortable with coding, and so they get to help the subject matter experts to publish the content or review the content that gets proposed on the topics that they're responsible for. We also have study groups, and these are a carryover of the Dam Design and Construction Committee, where we would identify a topic that needed to be studied a little bit. So we rolled those into the Dam Toolbox Committee, and so they're basically studying a topic that is of interest to them and is needed for information to the dam safety community as a whole. So we've got some previous study topics that we've done in the past. Those will be incorporated into the toolbox. We've got existing study topics like the ice loading study topic. There's not a lot of resources out there, so they're kind of researching what is out there so we can publish that to the toolbox. And then we've got some state-funded study projects. Michelle Lemieux from Montana is studying a model communication study topic, and she's actually paying consultants to help her with that. And then members of our committee are supporting her in a review and advisory role on those study topics. And we can always expand our foundational topics that Greg and his team initially populated the site with. So that's definitely an opportunity there. Meetings, I know people's time is valuable, but we have been having a lot of meetings as this site just got rolled out and kind of getting our feet under us. So we have an annual meeting at the Dam Safety Conference where our leadership team gets together, but then we have a full committee meeting at the conference as well. Our web development team just meets ad hoc as issues arise. ASDSO has a web developer that's under contract that's supporting that as well and watching the site for technical issues. Our study groups, they come together and meet on a quarterly basis, and then each study group sets their own meeting schedule in between those quarterly meetings to make sure that their study topic is moving forward. And then our curation team, we've been meeting monthly. We're going to dial that back to once every other month, and we may switch that to a quarterly meeting here soon as well. So with that, I just want to thank you so much for your time and attention today. We sincerely appreciate it, and it's our hope that this really inspires some of you to take the opportunity to share your technical knowledge and state program information on the Toolbox. We can all help each other with this platform. I sincerely believe that the Toolbox is a great way to give back to ASDSO and the dam engineering community. So if you'd like to get more involved, please reach out to any of us, and we'd be happy to get you plugged in. And even if you don't end up contributing, we hope that the Toolbox, a free resource for all, proves to be valuable to you and helps us all strive for ASDSO's mission, which is a future where all dams are safe. So thank you for your attention. Any questions last minute we can answer?
Yeah, there are a couple here that were submitted. One is a question: do you have to be an ASDSO member to log into the Toolbox? That answer is yes. The Toolbox is the way to log into the Toolbox is through ASDSO's member portal. And however, I mentioned earlier that if you have information that you would like to contribute, we are happy to work with non-ASDSO members to bring that content onto the site. The second question is reviewing the discussion section, and I'll just briefly talk about that. That is something that is not actively or not significantly utilized on the site right now, but we anticipate that becoming a potential resource for going forward if there is planning that's needed for the content of the website. Currently, the edits and moderation, the edits that are submitted are pretty easily incorporated into the overall site, and so we haven't been needing to leverage the discussion pages, but that functionality does exist in case it's necessary in the future.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, just add that the only reason you need to log into the site is if you want to try to make a live edit. You can view the site without the ASDSO membership, and so that's just one point of clarification. So,
thank you. Yep.
I can just jump in too. I'm going to share my screen. On this contribute page that Andy shared previously, there is the formatting and style guide. And so the question before about how to add a reference, this page has a lot of helpful tips there. So again, a link to the fillable PDF if you want to just take that route. But if you want to understand how to add a page, or add a resource page, add a training page, add a brand new topic page, or just how to format or move things around, this is where you want to come. So just for example, creating a resource page, if I click there, it will give me a step-by-step instructions, as well as down here at the bottom, template code that I can just copy and paste and then fill in the blanks, and it'll do all the rest. So there's a lot of helpful tips in the formatting and style guide if you want to get in and start making edits.
okay. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Andy. Thank you. And we appreciate your attention today. This concludes the ASDSO Dam Safety Toolbox webinar. Thank you.